Bang. We're in. Welcome everyone to the Rink Report podcast. As always, joined by Jason.
What's going on, guys? 2-1 this week. Big week.
We finally got games to talk about, which was nice to see. So we're not talking about Fugazi preseason stuff.
Just quickly before we get into anything, I'm so happy that we have games to talk about because it feels like we were, I don't want to say I don't know. It's just after the way last season went, it was positive, but also disheartening. Feels good to actually have Leafs hockey back. It's good to have it back. Watch games, get together with the buds, enjoy some buds hockey. So
exactly. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about the week that was, the new additions, the games, what we thought of the team and how it looked. Compare this start to previous starts. The past two starts, I think it would be a fair comparison, right? And then what was the other thing we had on here?
New lines, some defensive struggles, stuff like that. General stuff. Not only 3 games, not a lot to pry away, but we can still talk about stuff, So
yeah, exactly. Think about it this way: with the NHL compared to the NFL, one game is the equivalent of 5 NHL games, 6 NHL games,
pretty much, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then when you look at it, one NFL game is the equivalent of actually 9 MLB games. Right? Yeah. So we're not even through week 1 of the NFL yet, technically, when you look at it that way, right?
That's a good point. We're still in week 1. No, not even into the part where you overreact to it yet. We're still
the Chiefs started 0-1. The Chiefs technically started 0-6 when you think about it that way. So we're going to talk about that and give our thoughts on what's an appropriate reaction to what we've seen so far, right? So before we get into that, gentlemen across the nation, I have an urgent message for you. This episode is brought to you by Manscaped. The brand that took your balls to space is now launching them into the ultra sphere, introducing the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, featuring a new cutting-edge design and generation dual skin-safe blade heads for different shaves. It's pretty much a spaceship to take your boys downstairs to the next level. Join the 9 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with the brand new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with the code RINKRAT. That is RINKRAT. High tech for low places. Manscaped. Excited for that one. 4.0 has been awesome. Can't wait to use the 5.0.
Yeah, I'm really excited. We're getting that package hopefully soon to help my package out. But for those who don't,
we did get the pack. I got all of them. I just have to get them to you.
Well, I'm still waiting on that package delivery. Yeah, you're good. All good. But yeah. Anyways, great stuff. For those who don't know how to listen, I got you on video. So yeah, let's get right into
watching
it.
On video, you're missing out. So
yeah, if you're not if you're not watching on video and you're listening on audio, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really just helps us out a lot. And just hit the like button. It helps us out a lot. And share it to one person. Send it to one of your friends. It helps us out a lot.
Hell yeah, it does. All right, so let's get through the first 3 games. The Leafs are 2-1, beating the Montreal Canadiens in a shootout. The Minnesota Wild 7-4 in regulation, and then losing to the Chicago Blackhawks on Monday. All 3 games being played at home ice, and the Chicago Blackhawks score was 4-1. Yeah. So, Jason, reactions. 82-0 is not possible, but is 81-1 possible?
81-1 is also not possible. 65 and whatever it is, 20, however many games that is, losing 8 and 9, however many games the Bruins lost last year, that's possible. That's within reach. But quickly, before, it sucks. I love doing this show, but it sucks when it's weekly because if we decided to record this on Sunday instead of Monday, we'd be freaking out. Austin Matthews 6 goals, electric, what? But then Monday happens, and the Leafs lose to the Blackhawks. They outplayed the Blackhawks, in my opinion. Austin Matthews scores 0 goals, and now we're sitting here, we're we lost. Oh,
That's the thing.
Right?
That's such a great point, because I thought I was going to have to come on the show and like kind of bring people down to earth on how the first two performances were. But after Monday, it seems like
Now
Tuesday
you're
on
gonna
the
go the other way.
radio was piss fest all over the place. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty down too. You lost to a team that you should have beat on a sleepy Monday yet again. That happens far too often with this team. But the funny thing was, at the office I work, someone was wearing a Black Matthews jersey around the office on Tuesday.
I love it. The
I'm like, the
passion.
jersey the day after when there's no game is quite an interesting play. I wonder what he was doing with that, but I
No,
respect it.
I appreciate the passion, but yeah, no, it's funny because like if we recorded like we said on Sunday, we'd have to bring people back down to earth, right? It would be everyone being like 82-0. But now that we're recording after the loss, it's like, okay, it's not like, listen, we're not going to win every game, like it's there's a healthy medium that we can hit here, and I feel like that's the goal of what we do here is we try and like hit that correct middle where it feels like everyone's always out on the extremes, right? So I mean, we'll get
and
more.
actually explain things. That's the other thing, because I got a comment. Someone was like, "Oh, the Blackhawks tried harder and they skated faster."
Yeah, if only the Leafs just tried harder, like we'd win every
They
game.
tried harder. They tried hard. The Leafs didn't try hard enough. That's the most general, dumbest explanation ever. Anyways, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
Positives. Start with the positives of what you saw from this past week.
So positives, just like obviously the first two games we outscored and outchanced our opponent, right? Things were a little bit shaky there in
our
the
first
Habs
two
game.
wins. We outscored them. No way.
Our first game against the Habs there, it was a little shaky to start, but I mean the team picked up, team looked good. I mean, I think there's gonna be a little bit of a, I don't want to call it a grace period, but like we didn't play a lot of preseason games together in this kind of lineup. Whereas if you look at the Habs, like a lot of their younger guys who are going to be on the top end of the lineup have been playing games. And obviously the pace of play is way different, but just having those like actual game reps under your belt, it'll take one or two extra steps to get in there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, and then I'm saying Klingberg was injured all of the preseason.
Yeah.
Right. Someone else. And then on top of that, the Leafs didn't play their main guys. What, they played them three of them, 3 games or so.
Exactly. And they're also, a lot of the guys have new pairings, new things to try out, right? McCabe has Klingberg here. I mean, the third line is completely fresh, right? That the second line of who ended up playing with Tavares and Nylander, that was also new depending on who was playing there, right? So a lot of things that took time. It takes time to gel. And in the first two games, I thought we looked fine, right? Again, expected goals wise, we're clocking in at I think we're averaging like 2.5 expected goals a game over 3 games. That's really good, right? That's some really good stuff here. And I know we lost that last game against the Blackhawks, but I mean, if we're just gonna go by expected goals, Austin Matthews literally should have scored four goals that game. Not just he had 2.6, 2.7 expected goals, but I remember like 2 or 3 times where he was hitting the post side of the net where it's like those could have gone in, and it's just. That's
it was a great chance from Tavares in front. Soderblom made a great save on him. I didn't quite like that performance. The Monday game against Chicago was just so, I don't know. I felt a little weird about it because I don't think they played up to their full potential.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Not at all.
But I still think
Soderblom still has some deficiencies, though. Like I felt like he moves a lot in the net, and you could have taken advantage of that, like how Tavares did on his goal. But they didn't get enough pre-shot movement, I felt like, on him. And then the mental mistakes just buried them. Oh my God. The mental mistakes that ended up in the back of the net, but even the ones that didn't. Timothy Liljegren, I rewatched the first period. So I watched second and third Monday, and then Tuesday I rewatched the first period. In the first half of the first period, he had 2 horrible turnovers in his own end. And then on top of that, he had one against Minnesota, and he had one that ended up in the back of the net against Montreal. So a darling of the preseason is not, I would like a lot more from Timothy Liljegren this season.
Yeah, and I think we'll touch on the defensive struggles there a little bit, but he hasn't been playing well at all. And I'm going to give him 3 games, but that's someone who I'm kind of circling, and like I want to look more into in the coming weeks after he has a couple more games under his belt here. I've always had this random theory with Timothy Liljegren. I know it sounds crazy, but I feel like for some reason he whenever he loses his puck touches, and he's not getting as much ice time, his play diminishes with it. It's almost like there's a correlation between his playing time and his actual physical play on the ice.
It's feel. Defense is a field position, right? So that makes sense.
So that's kind of like my crazy thought process for this. But the problem is, again, you have TJ Brody and John Klingberg there. Like, I don't know if you're going to push those guys out. So it's either, like get used to maybe playing those like fewer minutes or earn yourself a little bit more minutes. I don't know. I love the way of Liljegren's play, but we'll touch on that later. I think there was a couple other things you wanted to get to with these games in particular. You clipped some stuff if you're ready to bring those up, or you want to kind of push
I'm
that
good
out.
to go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Let's
so
bring them up.
Yeah. Which one do you want to start with? Let's
start with the John Merrill one. So this is where you were saying the Leafs played well against the Wild. They won 7-4. I was particularly upset with part of this performance. And what this clip is, it's 4-3 Leafs at this point. Here, pause it right now. So it's 4-3 Leafs at this point. That's the fourth line out there right now, which I have a gripe against them right now too. And I just wanted to point out, like, Samsonov's positioning on this play right here. Like, Minnesota got one more goal later, though. It was 7-3, and then they added the 7-4 garbage goal. Mm-hmm. But this game was entirely in reach for Minnesota. And I just wanted to show this play here. So play it through, and then I'll explain what happened here.
Yeah, so you see the puck come up the sidewall, go to the point. Defenseman takes a shot, blocked, and then shot again from the left point there.
So
for those in audio,
wind it back like 3-4 seconds. Right,
like right here.
Why is Samsonov in the RVH? That's a total mistake on him that didn't end up in the back of the net. He made one good save in the first period. I'm going to show another one that'll be the third one, but even the third good save, like, he just totally misplayed this puck. That's why it had to be a good save. But this one ends up off the post. And, like, it's just a lot of running around in the defensive end. The goalie's not in position at all. So that was a little bit worrisome. And I mean, I like to bring up mistakes that goalies make that don't end up in the back of the net, just to show people, like, goaltending isn't voodoo. Like, there are plays that, like, don't end up in the back of the net that are full mistakes. So through the first two games, like, game one, I'll give Samsonov a pass, a lot of tips, a lot of screens, a lot of nonsense here and there. He didn't play well, but I gave him a pass. Game two, that was a bad game. That was a fully, to me, just a bad game for Ilya Samsonov. I would really like him to rebound. Do I think he'll rebound? Yes, I 100% do. Play clip number 2 on this one. And this is Timothy Liljegren, who we said needs to be better.
Yeah.
Again, 4-3 game, 1-goal game, beginning of the third. He gets the puck, turnover. That's a pretty good chance. Good save, covers up the rebound there. Again, just to show, this game was entirely in reach for Minnesota. And then play clip number 3. This is a solid chance from Marco Rossi. And we're going to pull it up now. There we are. If you're listening on audio, you should watch on YouTube. So misses the net there. Look, he's sitting there, doesn't know. He's able to scoop it out.
And that's
a lucky save, I'll say. Like, that wasn't a very talented save. He got kind of lucky on that one because he lost the puck totally. But that's a 1-goal game at the beginning of the third period where you hit the post because your goalie was out of position in the second period. You turned it over in a bad spot in the defensive end. And then on top of that, you got a lucky save. So that's where I download all these right after this game to be like, hey, like, don't get too high. Mm-hmm. Because this game was entirely in reach for Minnesota. And again, is that the fourth line out there again?
That looks like it's
Noah Gregor. So yes, it is.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's funny that you say that, though, because like you mentioned before in the first clip there, that like goaltending, like sometimes you don't see, like, you see the goals against and you're like, oh, that was bad, right? But that's a perfect scenario where, like, that might make a highlight reel because he, like, gloved it out of the net. But in reality, he was just completely out of position there. And I can think of so many times where, not so many, but like sometimes these highlight reel saves are actually as a result of just the goalie being out of position and him recovering very well, which is a good thing. But I mean, I'd rather just have a guy who's in position in the first place. So like, let's I'm super excited that we were able to do this because, like, man, we can I'm going to be incorporating a lot more of these clips in the future. I took a look at Fraser Minten. I don't want to bury the lead here, but we'll talk about him in a bit. But remind me next time. I'll bring some clips in for the show because I'm doing my homework here. But I mean, I might as well show it to you guys if I'm doing it. So I appreciate you bringing those clips. Yeah, we'll try and do a little bit of these for every single game. And yeah, if you're listening on audio, I'm going to timestamp right now. You're probably jumping to this, but head over to in the future if you're only listening on audio. Just use the timestamps. You can jump forward past this part. I'll write in the timestamps. We're going to talk about the clips here. But yeah, if we're done talking about the games here, I think the biggest thing we're going to talk about and the biggest news that has come out since these games is the new lines, right? So
I think just to put a bow on the games.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It was sloppy defensively. There was just a lot of mental mistakes throughout these 3 games. It's something that I think can be easily cleaned up with just coaching. The coaches are going to have to, even Bruce Boudreau said at the beginning of the season, he said it on Fan 590 this morning, the coaches want to pull their hair out at the beginning of the season because it's a lot of new guys together, new systems, getting acclimated. And I mean, Bruce Boudreau saying that he doesn't even really have hair. So should say something, especially against Chicago too. Like the home ice also stinks. The ice on at Scotiabank is horrible.
Yeah.
So maybe
I noticed that game away. Yeah, I noticed that game 1. So yeah, that's a good way to put a bow on things there. And I mean, like we said, it's still like we're halfway. We're in the second half of week 1, game 1. So like, let's pause for a bit. You know, like we have halftime to regroup here, and we'll take the right foot forward here. But yeah, moving on to like I guess forward and looking forward. Leafs are looking to shake up their lines here. Looks like Domi. So Domi was moved to the 3rd line for the Blackhawks game.
Correct.
And Yarncrook was on the 2nd line, but now Matthew Knies is getting the spot on the 2nd line here. Any thoughts on this shift? I mean, I feel like we kind of expected it. Needed, right? I think that's
100% needed. Yeah, I really like Matthew Knies. Like he's been quiet. He had a very good overtime. I will say that. Not that really means much against Montreal, but he's had some good puck touches. He's had some good setups here and there. I feel like his line mates are really holding him down. Like there's just not enough with him to be to have that much production from his first couple games. I really like, there was a play in the Minnesota game where he had great puck protection behind the net, held it, had a great wraparound, rebound came out. He had another chance and Gustafsson had to make a good save. And I was like, wow, like just, that was all by himself. I'm going to bury the lead. I think Fraser Minten should be back in junior. Just not enough there offensively. But I'm really happy that they're giving Matthew Knies more minutes.
Yeah. And obviously Domi to line 3 here. He would start off on that 2nd line. But yeah, I watched clips of Fraser Minten. I'm going to touch on him in a second there. But the biggest standout of watching like the 3 games that were played, all the shifts of Fraser Minten, was Matthew Knies. That was the biggest standout I noticed when watching Minten. My eyes were like, I was trying to keep my eyes glued to Minten, but it was almost hard because Matthew Knies is so good with his puck touches, so good at even his like parts that I thought were a little bit weaker in his game last year. So he seemed to have improved on his transition skating, his play in his own zone. I mean, I love his ability to win pucks. He's always able to get the correct side of the opponent's body, get in good body positioning, get first to that puck. And that's like an incredibly important thing to do here. Always under stick. Like, I mean, he's big, he's physical, he's got the size, he's got the NHL strength right now to kind of beat up. I don't want to say beat up, but like gain body positioning on these NHL like adult defensemen, right? He's still only, I think 20 years old, right? 20, 21, something along. Yeah, 20 years old, 21, 20 turning 21. Sorry. But yeah, he fits. I think he's definitely a fit. And I think the biggest thing, I'm going to transition this to Minten. Now, the biggest thing that was holding him back is like, it felt like his line mates were like afraid of touching the puck, honestly. Like Fraser Minten.
It's funny you say that because I saw a play where Max Domi passed the puck to Fraser Minten and Minten had his stick in the air.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It was through the neutral zone, right?
And then something happened. It was Matthew Knies went in, ended up getting the puck back, went in and missed on a good chance.
Yeah,
against Chicago, right?
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about here against Chicago. So let's just wrap it up here with Matthew Knies because I want to like keep these timestamps a little organized for our listeners out there. But yeah, I think Matthew Knies plays great, and I think he deserves a promotion to the 2nd line. And transitioning this into Fraser Minten, like I'm so I don't want to say unimpressed, but like he just like his effort is there. Let's start with the positive things. His effort's there. He finishes checks. That's just kind of it though. And I think,
Yeah.
I mean, other than him, like it seems like his face-off ability is good. He's winning face-offs against other NHL players, which is a skill, right? So, I mean, other than those like couple positive things, he doesn't really do much on the ice that makes you go, wow. He's kind of
Doesn't
like I said,
create much for himself. Like there was a
no,
couple chances he missed on that were like, oh, that was great, but that was set up by Knies.
yeah.
So
And another positive that I had of him, he's good at finding that soft spot puck side. So he's usually like in the offensive zone puck side. He likes to find that little soft spot in the high slot where there's no defenseman on him, and he's able to get shots off there. He doesn't have an elite shot though, so it's going to be hard for him to generate right now at the NHL level. So I mean, those are the positives. I mean, the negatives, like man, for a third line center, he's really not good at getting under puck and like supporting those D when we have possession in our own zone. He kind of drifts up ice a lot, which is something that I noticed in the 3 games they played. And that's something maybe I don't know, maybe I got to watch it back a bit, but I felt
that
like
wasn't something he was doing in the preseason. So that's quite interesting.
I don't know if that's just like eagerness and like kind of just, like, because it's like preseason's a little different than like actual NHL games, right? But I noticed just a slight would be a little either drifting up too much or not gathering speed under puck to kind of get the breakout going. So he could be a little bit more efficient on the breakout there. And then I mean,
not gathering
like I said,
speed, he has no speed. He's not very fast.
I think that's also part of the problem here, right? And then on top of that, it's like whenever his puck is on his stick, it's off it very quick, and it's not like in a positive light. He's not making positive plays after. If he's quick on the stick, off the stick, promoting the puck, that's a different story. But a lot of the times he's not really promoting the pucks to positive areas. So I mean, I like he looked good in the preseason. I think we were right about him being cautiously optimistic here because I don't think he sticks around past 9 games, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets sent down within like the week itself because. I mean, other than the effort he's showing, no, okay, maybe not on the road trip, but like other than the effort he's showing, which is important and good to see out of a young kid. Like, don't get me wrong here. I'm not like saying that like it's a negative that he's like, hey, he's willing to finish checks, willing to try and be first to the puck, but he just never is, and that's kind of a problem at the NHL level. He needs to work on his skating, and I think Junior is going to help him out a ton because he looks like someone who needs more puck touches. He was not on that first line for Kamloops. He wasn't on the first line in Kamloops, right? He played a second line role there. He was on first power play though, so he got a good offensive minutes on the power play there. But I think he will benefit from being on that first line, being that it guy in Kamloops, getting a bunch of puck touches under his belt, and kind of dominating. Because right now it looks like he's just trying to survive on the ice and not trying to impose his will. Whereas when Matthew Knies came in, he was very imposing when he played. He dominated when he played, or he looked to dominate when he played, and he was confident.
He made an impact right away.
Exactly. I think that's what Minten's missing. It's either confidence and just like I don't want to say willingness to impose his will, but just like I feel like he's not confident in himself. He's just I don't want to say afraid because he's not afraid, right? You get what I'm getting at there?
Yeah, but like I'm just looking back at my notes from what I had from the preseason that I wrote. Like struggles to make quick decisions. Saw players that were open in dangerous areas. He failed to move the puck to. Opts for the way too safe play in the offensive zone, which results in just putting the puck into the corner. A weak shot from distance should be easier to do with more speed. And then the other area of improvement was his speed. He doesn't have enough. So I think I was pretty accurate in this. And I said in my overall, hey, like this guy needs to go back to junior. He's not our third. He should not be a third line center. And right now it's like, let's be honest, the bottom 2 lines are really dragging down this team. We got 1 goal off a distance shot from Noah Gregor.
Yeah, Noah Gregor. And I mean,
Matthew Knies getting chances.
Yeah. So, and that's a part of it. Like Matthew Knies earns his promotion there, right? So that's massive. And we got to work out that third line because we need to get some scoring effects out there. And that kind of brings me to my next point. I didn't put it on the sheet here, but just as an extension of talking about this third line and Fraser Minten here. I mean, what do we make of who will be next then, right? So if it's game 3 heading into game 4 right now. By the time we talk next week, I believe there will be 4 games played. So we'll be at game 7 going into game 8, right? That'll leave 2 games for Fraser Minten. And I think it's fair to say he's going to get sent back down. If he doesn't, I'll be shocked. Who's next? Are we thinking Domi at center? Are we thinking Nylander 3C? Are we thinking outside the box Pontus Holmberg maybe? 3C? What are we thinking here?
That's a great question. They did say Nylander at one point. I wonder if they put Domi simply because he has had a horrific start to his Leafs career. He looks like he's just thinking way too much out there. The worst thing is his strength was okay. He's pretty fast, good speed, but like with the puck on his stick, he makes good plays. He's a good passer, right? Like his shot is pretty quick. In the offensive zone, this guy has to lead the league in passes to ghosts per 60. He is passing to nobody. He is throwing pucks randomly left, right, and center. I've liked his ability to transition the puck up the ice. Like that nasty Nylander goal from the Minnesota game. That was off a great Max Domi pass cross ice. Every time he seems to get the puck, he's able to help with the breakout up the ice. The issue is once the puck gets into the offensive zone, he has no idea what it's like it's like a cloud goes over him. It's like, I'm in the offensive zone again, which is a big issue because in the defensive zone, he has been terrible. Minnesota's third goal, I believe it was like he took a horrible route to the puck. He just got beat by the defenseman around him. I think it was Brock Faber, I want to say. And then that ended up in the back of the net. So Max Domi, they really need to start playing with his line mates quicker and he needs to get it going. But your brother Josh brought up a good point. Like there's a lot of pressure from himself and like the Toronto Maple Leafs on Max Domi on home ice too. So maybe away from Scotiabank, it'll be a little bit easier, less nerves. But think about it. He's a Domi playing in Toronto again. And he can't just get into the game by fighting someone because you're not
exactly. Fighting. And he got the question right out the gate when Sam Lafferty got traded. Are you going to take your dad's old number? He's like, no, it's my dad's number. That's not my number, right? So you can already tell that like there's that underlying pressure of, again, like you said, Domi, former Leaf, like he literally grew up around this stadium, around this area. It's like it's a different feeling for him. And on top of that, he's in a contract year. He's only signed for 1 year right now. So if he wants to prove himself, and if you like, I'm sure he doesn't want to take less money on his next deal, even though it'd be nice, right? I'm sure he wants to earn himself some more money and prove to the NHL that, hey, like I'm that guy that you saw a couple years ago. I can be a 60, 70 point player. Maybe not this year. Maybe I still got 40, 50 points in me though. You know, maybe I can get to that point. And that's what he wants to prove here. And so he's not only putting external pressures on himself, but there's internal pressures on him as well. So again, I think it's a good move to take him off that second line. Takes a little bit of shine away from him if that second line does not produce, right? If we're not scoring goals, everyone's going to be focusing on the top six, not focusing on him too much, right? So it'll alleviate a little bit of pressure here. So I don't hate that move too much, but I mean, also, he's got to be better.
There was a play from that second line. It was the Arbor Xhekaj goal. If you watch it back, Max Domi and William Nylander are on the same side of the ice. They're the wingers, and they're just on the opposite side of the ice. So I don't know who had the miscue there, but
that was bad. Yeah, there was three Klingberg. Who was it? It was Klingberg, Nylander, and Domi up high on the D on that goal, and then Tavares spins off expecting someone else to pick up his man in front of the net, and then no one's there to pick it up. That was a weird one. I think those are like those little things that Guy Boucher was talking about, ripping his fake hair out. So I mean,
no, that was Bruce Boudreau.
Oh, sorry, Bruce Boudreau.
Guy Boucher's an art.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, just going off of that. So maybe Domi could be a solution there at 3C. Do you think splitting up? Like, I don't think possibly. I'm so pro splitting up Nylander and Tavares, but like I think they just keep them for a bit just to see if anything else would work first.
I would try Knies, and if that doesn't work, then yes. You have to try Knies. If that doesn't work, then you're gonna have to try Bertuzzi, and if that doesn't work, then yes, I would split up.
Maybe.
You wouldn't take Bertuzzi off line one?
I would not take Bertuzzi off that line.
It's hot. It's really hot.
Would not.
They look so. Every single time they get the puck, chip it into a corner, someone's going to get it. Because all three of those guys have a tremendous ability to get themselves the puck. It didn't result in any goals, unfortunately, against Chicago. But they were bullying them in the corners. But unfortunately, they're just trying to pass it too much, and the ice is garbage, and then it's not ending up in the back of the net. So that really sucked. But
yeah, our preseason prediction of this line being the first in the NHL, man, those first 3 games made me very, 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 very confident. Just because, like you said there, all these guys, Bertuzzi is such a good puck hound, but he's not like a puck hound like Zach Hyman or like, I mean, Bunting wasn't really that good of a puck retriever, but like, man, Bertuzzi's just a smart player when he goes into the box. He doesn't just recklessly go in. He always gets that good angle, always inside positioning, always getting under stick. And like, same thing with Marner, same thing with Matthews. Those are 3 really good puck retrievers. Really, really good. Marner's incredibly underrated his ability to retrieve pucks. People think you have to be big to retrieve pucks, but like, newsflash, Tyler Bertuzzi isn't that big. He's like, how much does he weigh? Like 180, 190?
180.
Like,
6'1",
yeah,
180.
He's not that big of a guy. He's just smart about it. And that's what you need when you're retrieving pucks here. On top of that, the threat of Tyler Bertuzzi has created just that little bit of extra space for Matthews and Marner to get working. And like, you can kind of tell that like defenses defending in zone, the opposing team, when they're defending in their own zone, they're kind of struggling picking up where to be, who to cover, because 1, this line is super good at cycling, and 2, I mean, everyone's a threat. Like,
exactly. And then when you look at it, Matthews' first goal against Minnesota, I posted about it on Twitter. I forgot to bring it up for this episode, but who cares? It's up on Twitter. Take a look. Off that face-off, so Matthews wins it. Bertuzzi kicks it back to Riley. It's a set play. They pan it back, and you can see TJ Brody's waiting for Riley to send that in, and he's the first one on that puck. So Brody gets in there, gets in on the defense. Defense loses it. Marner's able to pick up that puck, and the hook pass to Matthews was just perfect, like perfect through the defender. Matthews gets the puck in a dangerous area, open ice, and rips it. Like just vintage Austin Matthews. But then when you look at it, who else is in on that play? Tyler Bertuzzi's mucking it up in front of the net, boxes out the defender, takes away the stick. This guy had no chance getting to Matthews. So that play just complements exactly what you said about that line perfectly. The issue is, and this is where I'm going to go, the issue from the first 3 games, we had 1 5-on-5 goal against Montreal. Against Minnesota, they had 2 power play goals, and some other guys got in on the scoring. But then against Chicago, you had 1 goal, right? Other lines need to get scoring.
Yeah.
And right now, it's Matthews, the line 1, William Nylander generating offense, and then a black hole.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
which doesn't do well for gameplay.
Yeah. We need, the biggest thing here is we need Max Domi, like we said, to kind of get going, because he's going to be that. If he's not playing in the top 6, that's the guy who's going to need to get that bottom 6 going. And I think he has a better style of play to complement the players around him than Matthew Knies does for a bottom 6 role to get them to score a little bit more. Does that make sense? Right? Like Matthew Knies is, I mean, he's a good player, but I think he can do a lot more with better players, right? He can elevate better players alongside him, whereas Max Domi can kind of raise poorer quality players around him. Does that make sense?
I guess yes and no. Yeah.
So
yeah,
very, very oversimplified.
I just think also you got to look at it plain and simply. Knies is playing a lot better than Max Domi.
Yeah, well, for sure, without a doubt. That's
so
that's
he deserves it.
100%, and like that's majority of the reason why he got that promotion, and he deserves it. Like you said, he deserves it. So
I would have thought Domi and Yarncroc would have been able to get some chemistry going, but when you're passing to ghosts, it's tough to get your line mates going. So.
Yeah, I mean, we'll give him a couple more, we'll give him a little bit more runway here, because I think in my head, stylistically, they should work. No,
yeah, I would think so.
Crazy, but
are there any of the new additions that you think are just, this was the bad pickup, or is it all we need more time?
I think that they're all we need more time, and I mean they're all kind of gambles if you think about it. And speaking of gambling, before we get to our next point here on if we should keep them or get rid of them, and what our thoughts are for these new players, want to quickly talk to you guys about DraftKings. The NFL season is going strong, and DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking up new customers with an offer that's even stronger. Bet $5 on any game this week to score $200 instantly in bonus bets. DraftKings is not stopping there as well. All customers can take advantage of a sweetener offer every game day this October. I mean, personally, I know I love the little boost. They usually offer like a 25% profit boost on those for those Thursday night football games. Love getting in on the action there. So make sure you get in on the action and get in on the game day greatness. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet $5 on the NFL. That is code THPN. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sponsor, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK or text HOPE New York 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility and deposit restriction terms and responsible gambling resources here. Sorry, just had to get that little DraftKings sponsor out of the way here, but you wanted to talk about quickly the new guys, how we feel about them, right? If we feel like sell high, what were we calling it before the show? I forgot the words are escaping me right now.
It's a little inappropriate, but like trash or take some time or something like that. I think that was what I was saying.
Yeah, I think all of them I'm gonna have to shelve under take some time. And starting with
Domi, as we mentioned.
Yeah, we kind of already talked about Domi. Bertuzzi has been I don't want to say like a revelation, but I think Bertuzzi's been very good for us. I think he's already good. Don't even need to see any more of him. Already know that he's going to be
few too many penalties, but yeah, 100%.
Right, and then who else we got in the forward group? Fraser Minten. We talked about him as well.
Mm-hmm. Back to junior.
And then
not trash, but I shouldn't have said trash. That's why. That's
pass.
Anyways,
pass.
Yeah, he's going back. Fraser
pass or let him cook.
Yeah.
So sure. And then Noah Gregor. I was actually impressed with Noah Gregor as a fourth line player. I think something that's nice is just like Kevin Papetti on Twitter tweeted this. It's like I think it's shots per 60. He's like top 10 in like the last 2 years in the NHL. He just shoots the puck a lot for how little he plays. And like
league minimum, I'll take it.
I'll take that. Like, listen, guy who just fire him on net. Listen, he might not score, but if he scores one every 3, 4, 5 games, that's perfect. We'll take that any day of the week. And then I think the guy you really want to talk about here is Ryan Reeves. I'm happy to have him on the team. I'm happy to I think he brings a little bit of a physical element that gets the home crowd into it. Do I think he's going to be playing meaningful minutes in the playoffs? Probably not. So, he hasn't been like amazing. I'm not going to say he's good.
He's on the playoff roster. That's not good.
I'm not going to say that. Listen, I'm not going to say that he's been impressive or he's been amazing. He's probably been the worst player so far this year, maybe the second worst. Don't want to throw anyone else under the bus here, but I think I've never been an intangibles guy, but I think his impact is actually like good for this team.
That's the only reservation I have. Like, you're hearing all the good things, unless it's propaganda. You're hearing all these great things. Oh, he's doing this. He had a great Halloween costume. Him and his wife were Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart. He's booking restaurants on the road. He's making sure he's taking over the DJ. He's bringing life into the team. Austin Matthews, they gave him the belt after the Minnesota Wild game.
Was wild, by the way. That was so wild that he got the belt out of anyone. But yeah, keep calling. Sorry.
That play was electric. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, hitting Gooley and then fighting Arbor Jackeye. Electric. Rocking Frederick Goudreau, I think it was, and then fighting Nick Foligno. Electric. Yeah. Going after Corey Perry and calling him a loser to the media. electric. He didn't call him a loser, but he was like, I don't really know him or something like that. Anyways, that was electric.
Doesn't like him. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the massive issue that really should be discussed, and that a lot of people are just being brushed off. Oh, you're a calculator cowboy on Twitter. How's this for calculations? He's -3 in 3 games, minus a -1 in each of the 3 games so far. He is averaging 8 minutes and 7 seconds a game. You're giving, so all those intangibles, all those restaurants booked, he's getting the boys to Carbona, I guess. I don't know. But you're giving up a full goal against each game for that. That's bad. That's really, really bad. And on top of that, I didn't even do this on purpose. I didn't even notice who was on the ice. I just showed you 3 clips that he was all in that were not good.
Yeah, it's tough to defend that one. And obviously that should be the most important thing here.
Somehow. And if it doesn't, he needs to, he can't be playing.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I mean, David Kampf and Ryan Reeves are 3rd and 4th respectively with 2.5 expected goals against and 2.23 expected goals against here, and they've played the least amount of minutes out of everyone on the team. Yeah, they've played the least amount of minutes out of everyone on the team. So that's obviously not okay. Expected goals per 60, not good. But hey, expected restaurants booked per 60 is through the roof. Expected lightning rod to the media to take the attention off your star players after a loss, through the roof. So those analytics, those are on fire. But
as long as Austin Matthews keeps averaging a hat trick every 3 games, 2 hat tricks every 3 games, I'll take it.
6 goals, 3 games. Yeah, we'll take that. 10 times out of 10 here.
Also, you notice I'm tapping the couch because my dog's here, but he won't come join us. He doesn't want to talk. Anyways.
He doesn't like he doesn't like Revo at all. That's the problem.
Like Ryan Reeves.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're getting completely outchanced on the ice. 12 high danger chances against when that 4th line is out there to only 3 high danger chances for. I mean, that's a thing where I want to see them tighten up. There is the high danger chances, and hopefully that comes with time. Like we said earlier,
they can't get the puck.
Hopefully that comes with time, though, right? Like maybe it's just like a structure issue that can be solved, like through proper structure.
The defense playing better could help them. Yes,
that as well. So
we have one good defensive. Well, one line is playing well. Half of the 3rd line is playing well. Which Giordano, shout out to him. People were saying this guy's cooked. This guy's 40 years old. This guy stinks. The amount of huge blocks on the penalty kill and has been insane. And I thought he's been playing pretty solidly so far. So shout out to him. It's been solid. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. And I mean, just to put a bow on the new players, I think of the forwards, we need to wait and see.
We haven't talked about Klingberg at all.
Yeah, no, but I think let's lump it into this discussion right now because we're going to talk about the defense and the defensive struggles anyway. So because there's only one new defenseman, right? And it's Klingberg. So I mean, put a bow on those. I think for the forwards, I'm big wait and see for majority of them. Minten, I think he has to go back to juniors. Bertuzzi, 2 thumbs up for me. So, I mean, you were just touching on our D, and it feels like it hasn't been that good. Really, their only good line for us so far has been that Morgan Riley, TJ Brody line that I've been super critical of in years past. But hey, like it's starting to work again, right? Like it's back now. I mean, previously, like I want to say 2 years ago, last year, the expected goal differential wasn't always there, but in the first 3 games, I mean, they're dominating their minutes a lot of problems.
One mistake from Brody.
Yeah.
One mistake from TJ Brody this season. And Nick Kyprios goes off on him saying how he's bad.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So let's make a segment. It's called Talk Like Nick Kyprios. Ready? I'm going to analyze the game like Nick Kyprios. And Leafs defense bad. That's the end of that segment. I'll never do it ever again. But
that was a fantastic.
I had to listen to him, so now making everyone else listen to what I was hearing. So,
brought to you by DraftKings and
no,
and Manscaped.
Can't say that.
Anyways, but yeah, no, this this first line, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. They are pretty good. TJ Brody, you're right. That one mental, like, was it a mental mistake? He literally got his feet.
You could
caught
argue it
from
was the
under him.
ice. Gregor made
Yeah,
the pass to him. It hit a rut. It moved. He had to adjust, and then he just fell back, which
yeah, and people.
his age was really showing there. But I thought he's been more than fine through the first 3 games.
I agree, and I think people are a little worried about it though because he did show did not look that good in the playoffs last year, and I wonder maybe if he had an
I
injury
thought
or
he was
something.
injured.
Yeah, so maybe that's what it could have been here, but I mean, I think that the real talking point here is the second line because they've been getting shelled. Expected goals
They've been getting
percentage
bombed.
36.95% expected goals for percentage here. I mean, they're generating a lot. They've generated 2 expected goals in about 40 minutes of ice time. But the problem is
So actually, when you look back at the Chicago game, the epitome of what's been going on with them, there was a play in the offensive zone. It was McCabe to Klingberg. McCabe walked in. Klingberg fed him a dart, and McCabe received the pass, got it on net, hit Soderblom, and went out of play. It was a great chance, I thought. The next play, it went back the other way, and they scored because McCabe pinched, and then also Klingberg pinched or something like that, and then someone got a great chance. Wool made a huge save. I really liked the save. And then they just got the puck back and it ended up in the back of the net for Athanasio's goal.
Yeah.
So the epitome of what it's been. They're just not reading off each other at all. It feels like, and then on top of that, when one guy pinches, like there was a play in the Montreal game, McCabe pinched and then Nylander was supposed to cover and then Nylander pinched. And then it just went back the other way and they scored. It might have been the called back goal. I can't quite remember, but it was a brutal defensive play. Like Jake McCabe's supposed to be this defensive defenseman. Like he's quite active. He likes to activate a lot. So something's got to give. And these two got to figure it out. I think they're going to, did they change the defensive pairings?
Let me double check that. I thought, I got to fill air a little bit here as I pull this up here. But I mean, just one standout that I'm noticing here is like the second line is playing just as much as the third line. Dude, this is crazy. High danger chances against. The second line has 20 high danger chances against. Morgan Riley and TJ Brody only have 2 high danger chances against playing together.
Wow.
McCabe and Klingberg have 20, which is crazy.
Yeah,
and
it makes sense. The numbers match the eye test. It's McCabe Liljegren right now, Giordano Klingberg. So I think that should settle a lot of things, hopefully, because Giordano's not activating much anymore. And Klingberg, like, he's shown so many times. I don't know how he had a couple points in the first game. He's looking good on the power play. Like, he's passing the puck up ice really, really well. He has a very good ability of just a one-touch pass up the ice, tape to tape. The issue is, and I said it so many times, he's just so bad defensively. And when you have another guy that's pinching and not reading off of him well, you're going to have a disaster, which we've had through the first 3 games. So,
yeah. And how about me literally like 40 minutes ago saying like, good luck Liljegren bumping Klingberg off that second line.
Yeah, I didn't understand what you were saying there. You literally did.
I know. Yeah, no, like listen, like Klingberg, I think Klingberg has been great if you can only look at one side of the ice and it's like the opposing's end. I think he's been done very, very well on that. And I think he's done pretty well on the power play here too. I mean, it's going to be, it'll be interesting to see how these guys play out. I want to see them play first. So I think Liljegren should be able to step up because we like I said, my little thesis there, more minutes equals better Liljegren. So, I mean,
hopefully the play styles, play off each other. A little bit better, right?
So, I mean, the defense has been getting shelled, and I think that's a little bit to do both with
needs to be stronger in front of the net.
Liljegren?
Nobody's getting moved in front of the net, and the forwards needs to be better in front of the net too, because nobody's touching anyone in front of the net. It seems like there's been tip goals in all, not against Chicago, but against Minnesota and Montreal. There was a few where guys just weren't getting moved at all. So, that's my 2 cents.
Fair enough here, and like, Listen, it makes sense. I'm completely I completely done
Distracted.
myself in here on this
Yeah.
on this on this Lilligren thing here. But hopefully we can go back and edit it. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it in there. But yeah, I think
We
this
have three defense that are playing pretty well, I would
and we have three
say,
that matter.
and we have three that are playing horrible.
Yeah. So
that's my thought.
yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Good way to put a bow on it there.
Yeah. Plain and simple, like it's mental mistakes. Mental mistakes in clearing the front of the net really need to be improved, or else the Panthers and Matthew Tkachuk are going to feed the Leafs their lunch. Plain and simple. Right?
Sure. Exactly.
So moving forward and comparing last year and this year, remember last year, like it felt like a total disaster at one point. It was, again, I should have had this up. I don't know why I don't. Right? There we are. Okay. So remember last year they lost the first game to Montreal. Not a very good team. That was horrible. But they started out 3-2. Yeah, lost against the Coyotes. That was brutal. But they ended they ended October 4-4. The season before that, it was the same thing, 4-1. Right. So 2-1 right now. They did start 2-1 each of the last two seasons too. So just a reminder, the Leafs got hot the last two seasons when we said they would in November, rattled off some wins in a row, and they ended off November, everyone feeling pretty comfortable with where they were at. So take it with a grain of salt. Again, we're halfway through week 1 of the NFL schedule. So
first half. We're still in the fourth. We haven't even gone to the fourth quarter yet. We still have all three of our timeouts. We're golden. Relax. RELAX, as a famous man once said here. I think that's. Do you have anything else for? I'm good.
Yeah, Wool was okay in his start against Chicago. I thought Samsonov really needs to bounce back. He is going to start against the Panthers. If it's not very good, I would 1,000% go back to Wool on Saturday.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking ahead, this is going to come out Thursday morning. Leafs play the Panthers tonight. If you're listening to this right when it drops, then we have Leafs Lightning and a little bit of a fun Florida road trip here Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Then the Leafs go on to play.
Not too good.
Pardon? Lightning. Oh, Lightning. Yeah. I mean, losing the best goal in the NHL might do that to you. They won their first game though, which was massive. Everyone was saying they're back. They don't need.
Well, that was an up and down. That was an up and down game.
Yeah, they're saying they don't need Vasilevsky. Anyways, so Saturday against the Lightning.
What did someone say? It was Johansson's found the fountain of youth or something like that.
I don't know. I didn't see that, but that's just absurd. After one game, it's the first drive. It's a scripted drive.
And he's never been good in the NHL.
Yeah.
What fountain? What? One homeless people.
Matthew Knies has found the fountain of youth.
Anyways, okay. What? He's going back to the 6th grade.
Yeah.
It's the fountain of youth for him. Yeah. Anyways,
after the
I think that's all I got.
Yeah, after Lightning game, though, I just want to quickly Tuesday, October 24th, Capitals. Game starts at 6 p.m. At least the NHL starting to do that now. Kudos to the NHL for splitting up these start times between 6 and 8 p.m. We can watch a little bit more hockey now, which is a little bit nice. Took them, I don't know how many, 13 years to figure that out. I don't know. First number that popped in my head. Then on Wednesday, you can catch us back here. Every week, or I guess Thursday morning. But yeah, anyways, next 3 games, we should be good. So,
yep. All right. Thanks everyone for listening.
Go Leafs, go.